Why is weight loss so difficult? And even if you are able to lose weight, why is it so difficult to keep the weight off? Also, why is it so easy for people to misunderstand how to lose weight and get influenced by misinformation about weight loss? How long does it actually take to lose weight? And how can this be done sustainably for the long term? These are all the topics that we'll discuss today in this video. I'm Dr. Rawat, an Indian origin, England trained, Canada based family physician and founder of healthgroupcoaching.com, through which I run a virtual as well as an in person weight loss coaching program. One of the most common misunderstandings I see in the realm of weight loss is understanding the difference between the scale and fat loss. What you're really trying to achieve is fat loss. And in my clients, I'm also often trying to achieve a body weight composition, so losing belly fat and gaining muscle. However, what clients are often focused on is simply the scale. Trouble is, the scale can be influenced by various things. Your water weight, which is affected by your carb intake, sodium intake, sleep, stress, cortisol levels, time of the month, etc. And a lot of the initial reduction in scale weight is often loss of water weight. When we say water weight, what we really mean is glycogen, which is stored carbs or sugar in our muscles and liver. For each part of glycogen, there are 4 parts of water also stored in the body. If we were to do a low carb diet, fasting, significantly reduce sodium intake, then the majority of the scale weight we're seeing going down would be water weight reducing, and that technically is not fat loss. Fat loss actually happens at a fairly predictable kind of rate. On average, if you're in a calorific deficit of 3,500 calories per week, which is on average 500 calories or 1 meal per day, then you can expect to lose about 1 pound or half a kilogram of weight per week. That's actual fat loss. Simply through reducing carbs, reducing salt, and fasting, a person could lose up to 6 kilograms or 12 pounds of water weight in a month in the most extreme cases, but not actually lose any fat if they were not in a calorific deficit. Unfortunately, a lot of people get into this cycle of losing water weight and then gaining water weight back again and finding that their body fat isn't changing, and that's because they're just fluctuating their water weight while their body fat stays the same, since they're not truly in a calorific deficit. All they're doing is changing their carb intake, sodium intake, and other parameters which have an effect on water stores in the body. One thing I like to remind my clients is that burning fat and losing fat are not the same thing. By doing longer periods of fasting or significant reduction in carbs, such as a keto diet, can lead to your body burning more fat because there is more fat available, there is less sugar available. But if you're not in a calorific deficit, you won't actually lose fat as a net result. And that's because our body has mechanisms like gluconeogenesis, through which you can convert fat into sugar, and de novo lipogenesis, through which you can convert sugar and protein into fat. And so what really decides whether you lose fat or not is your calorie balance. And that, of course, leads to the next point, that fat loss is slow. If 1 meal a day or about 500 calories per day average would lead to about half a kilogram per day, and let's say if a person needed to lose 10 kilograms, then that means that would take 20 weeks, which is 5 months of consistent discipline. And that is where the vast majority of people, 99%, fall short. They make a judgment call on what they're doing and whether the plan is working or not within a few weeks into the program. They don't stick to it for that 4 to 5 months that they need to, and they stop believing in the process. They feel that their body is broken, their metabolism is broken, there must be some other cause, perhaps it's your hormones, perhaps it's your genetics. They lose trust in basic laws of physics and thermodynamics and fall victim to misinformation which allows them to find a bogeyman, to blame something else, blame their metabolism or their genes, and give up on the whole program. And if there's one thing that I want you to take out of this video, it is that it takes persistent work for several months to see results. Initially, when you get into a calorific deficit, most of the weight you lose will be water weight, so there will be a much steeper loss in weight for the first month. Then you will see a plateau. This is the time when most people give up and lose hope. But remember, that's part of the process. Stick in there, stay in there, trust the process. It takes several months. One more reason why people give up and fail is because of often inappropriate expectations. Remember, a lot of those bikini models and personal trainers on Instagram with six packs are doing what they do because they are genetically gifted to be in that kind of shape. To them, it comes more naturally. Our body has a certain set point which it tries to defend. And if you look at siblings, cousins, family members, you'll see that genetically people can have a certain shape. Now, of course, this is influenced both by genetics as well as environment. But there is a certain type of body shape and weight that your body is predisposed to. And realistically, there is no doubt that it is easier for certain people and more difficult for other people. And it's not just for weight loss. There are people who are better suited to be wrestlers, people who are better suited to be football players, and others who are better suited to be basketball players. We are not all the same. We have different physiques, we have different body types, and weight loss may not come as naturally to you as it does to other people. So it's important to appreciate that. What I say to my clients is, don't compare yourself to anyone else. Compare yourself to just yourself. Depending on your age, your genetics, your lifestyle, underlying medical conditions, the aim is to try to become a better version of yourself. If you're someone who has excess body fat and is under-muscled, try to become stronger. Try to gain muscle. Try to gain more bone mass. Try to improve your cardiovascular fitness and lose belly fat. It's really important to also look at what we describe as non-scale victories. Don't just look at the scale for motivation. If you are able to lift heavier weights, do more reps, run faster, run for longer, you are becoming a fitter person, a healthier person, regardless of whether the scale moved much or not. Don't let that scale become the be-all and end-all of your health journey. Rather than a set point, I believe more in a settling point, meaning that by changing in our lifestyle, we can change the weight which our body defends. Rather, I often say that no one really loses weight or gains weight. We just live a certain lifestyle that can be influenced by our habits, society, environment. But overall, there's a certain amount of calories coming in, a certain amount of calories being utilized, and a certain amount of processing taking place within the body. There can be energy efficiencies and losses. And if you're living a 3000 calorie lifestyle, your weight will eventually reflect that. And if you're living a 2000 calorie lifestyle, eventually your weight will reflect that. In my experience, motivation can only last so long, perhaps a few weeks, perhaps a few months. Motivation can last much longer for people who have a really good reason to look the way they do. If they are actors, actresses, models, personal trainers, they have a much larger motivation to stay healthy and fit because they have to be that role model as well. And so whether it's calorie tracking, exercise, resistance training, fasting, diet control, control of what you eat, these people are much more likely to do these things in the longer term than the average person. Appetite and satiety is something which is very much regulated centrally. And so the most effective strategy, in my experience, is to make permanent changes. We change the overall calorie balance. So if you change standard Coke to Diet Coke, that's 150 calories. If you change your ice cream to vanilla flavored Greek yogurt with sliced mangoes and chia seeds, that could be a few more 100 calories. With the addition of more fiber and more protein. For some of your meals, if you change beef to fish, that could be a few hundred more calories. If you change white rice to sweet potato, that could be a few hundred more calories. So essentially achieving fewer calories, but with more nutrition and equal amount of satiety is the best long-term strategy. Of course, the other thing you can do is just reduce your appetite altogether by use of pharmacotherapy like GLP-1 and GLP-1 GIP agonist medication. When looking at this in the longer picture, there are other things as well which need to be done to maintain your gains. These include building muscle, making a habit of walking more and getting more steps in, and even other things you can do which may have a smaller impact but can be part of the overall plan, including some degree of early time restricted feeding, intermittent fasting to improve insulin sensitivity, taking steps to optimize your gut microbiome. These are things which work at a hormonal level. And when you're in a situation where you have lost weight and you need to maintain that, anything you can do will help. And that includes primarily building muscle, staying active, optimizing insulin sensitivity, optimizing gut microbiome, and reducing chronic systemic inflammation. These are topics that we discuss in detail on my coaching program. Reducing stress hormones like cortisol by improving sleep and managing chronic stress. So, in summary, you did not gain your excess body fat in a month or even in a few months. It was gained over a long period of time. And losing this takes time as well. It is important to be patient. It is important to invest in things which not only help you lose weight, but also maintain that weight loss to improve your health overall. Do not compare yourself to anyone else. Compare yourself only to yourself. I run a coaching program which is both virtual as well as in person. I am based in North York, Toronto, and clients with OHIP can access the program. Just visit my website on healthgroupcoaching.com. Just note, however, that the virtual program is only available to my own rostered clients and to private clients, while OHIP clients have access to the in-person program because of billing rules within OHIP. I use certain billing codes which will not affect your own doctor's billing in any kind of way, and there is no referral required. You just need to fill the client discovery form on the website. Feel free to put any comments in the comments of the video, and I'll see you at the next video. Take care.